Why? Why? Because all my friends are having fun. We were teenagers, 12 years old. I didn't understand. At that moment, today, I am very thankful for my father for this experience because it's priceless. And 2 months later, I got a call from LA, from Los Angeles, from United States that, hi, is this Grete Brokiene? Yeah, why? So you were selected as one of the possible candidates, yeah. Why only women? Because Mrs. Globe changed a lot in my life, a very lot. It was a break point because before I only understood the friendship of women as a competitive, You should be happy now and support your body, your cells with the proper nutrition, with the food from Mother Nature, and Cyprus is a place for this.
I'm Farah Shammas. Welcome to Hotel Talk. We hope you enjoy listening to this friendly conversation between people connected by real life in hotels. Today, I'm really happy to introduce you guys to Grete Brokiene. If you don't know her already, you definitely have to check her out. If you're living in Cyprus or anywhere, she is a wellness and nutrition coach, so you can find her online and connect with her. But what she's most famous for is being Mrs. Lithuania. Not only was she Mrs. Lithuania, but she also represented her country in Mrs. Globe, and she was among the top 15 finalists. So Grete, thank you so much for being with us at St. Raphael Resort, where we first met a few months ago when you first moved to Cyprus. How are you finding your move? How are you finding living in Cyprus?
First of all, Farah, hello, and thanks for inviting me here. It's such a big honor for me to finally do something official and spread my message to the big audience.
Oh, it's our pleasure. My pleasure.
So I found Cyprus really amazing and very, very extremely welcoming. Really, literally, I never met such a friendly people anywhere before. So far it's okay. We are here already half year, yeah?
I think so. God. I think, 1 minute. Yeah, I think more. 1 minute, we're September now. And I remember first meeting you, isn't it nearly a year ago or no?
No, it was February. When we came, to try.
And remind me, you came here originally on holiday and then ended up saying, I love it.
Kind of. We've been to Cyprus many times before for vacation, or my husband had some job to do here. And on February, we came for 1 month to try because, after the COVID, finally we managed to come to try. And after 3 or 4 days, I just said to my husband, please, let's move here.
And that was it. Did you go back and get your stuff or you just stayed here?
We came back. That's why I'm saying it's officially it's half year we are here. So we came back for we stayed in Coral Bay February, March. Then we came back to Lithuania to pack the stuff, to leave the apartment and everything. And we moved in 1st of May. It's official.
Amazing. And obviously when you first came to Cyprus, you were staying in hotels as well. And hotels run in your family, don't they? So your dad is a hotelier, or was a hotel investor rather. So tell us a little bit about that, because he was the owner of Kempinski in Lithuania.
Yes, this is a big story, a part of the history, let's say. Everything started, I think, 25 years ago when he became a managing director of the company, of the holding of companies. And he and his partner, which is, he is a Lithuanian-American, or American-Lithuanian, half, they decided to buy a few buildings in Vilnius. Vilnius is the capital of Lithuania. And they made they bought a buildings and they made a contest. I don't know how to say it in English. Not a contest, but when they just spread the message, they're looking for hotel operators, yeah?
Yeah, they went out to tender, for a franchise or management contract.
Yes. One of the buildings is a historical building. It's a heritage.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is in UNESCO. I'm right. Yeah. It's in UNESCO, and it was a Astoria hotel previously, a hotel named Astoria. Even in the World War II, I guess it was a hotel Astoria, the only one, the first one in Vilnius. So they bought a building and they found the operator, the Radisson Blue. And it was, I guess, 2001 or 2002. I was around 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah, 20 years ago already.
Completely. Yeah. And this is how it started. By the way, the partner of my father, he used to own, before the Radisson, a very small boutique hotel in Vilnius Old Town just to understand how it works. But in the end, you can find out that it's completely different when you're taking care of the small boutique hotel comparing to the network hotel.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's good you brought it up. Like one hotel to another is completely different. From one country, even a town, size, star rating, it's not one thing.
It's completely
fits
different.
Everything. Yeah.
So this is how it started, and it was at that time it was Radisson SAS. After they made a rebranding, they made it Radisson Blue, and this is where I did my first job.
Oh, really?
I was 12 years old.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. So when I was 12 years old, on the school vacation, the summer vacation, I was assisting half day, but it was legal and official. I had all the...
From 12 years old, you were allowed legally?
Yes, it was legal, like only to work 4 hours per day, but it was official. I was employed official. Like I had a contract, everything.
Oh, and how did that make you feel?
Well, to be honest, I was like, why? Why? Because all of my friends like are having fun. We were teenagers, 12 years old. I didn't understand. At that moment, like today, I am very thankful for my father for this experience because it's priceless.
Do you think it shaped your early years then and made you appreciate the world or money or working?
Everything, because I am the only daughter in the family, and at least to understand how the hotel business is working from the very small details. So the very first summer, as I was working, I was assisting a housekeeping department. So like folding the towels, the wardrobes.
The bathrobes, yeah.
I was not allowed to do everything by myself. Under supervision, I was assisting housekeepers.
Yeah.
Then next summer, I was 13. I was assisting in the kitchen with the breakfast. When everyone in your friends, your schoolmates, they're having a holiday and you have to like wake up at 5 and go to the job because when the breakfast in hotel, it starts 7, I guess, as I remember.
Yeah, it was 6 sometimes, yeah.
And like no serious duty, just to cut the cucumbers, to do the bread and everything. Also, just to assist. Later on, I had an opportunity to help the HR manager, to have a...
The HR.
HR, to touch the papers, the documents, and, the step by step to see more, the kitchen, let's say, of hotel.
So more admin, later, yeah. But that's normal. And to be honest, you started early, but many people, they might do their work experience at 16 and then not get to do admin until they're 18 or 21.
Yeah.
So that must have been quite an experience. Do you feel like that really empowered you and gave you a push for...
Yes, I still remember what I bought from my first salary because they were not the force, but by the law, they paid me a salary daily by the contract. So I remember that the first day after the job, I went to it's kind of... Douglas or something like this, and I bought like 5 different nail polish.
Oh, how sweet. Yeah,
I still remember. So this is it. Astoria Hotel, Radisson Blue Astoria Hotel in front of Vilnius Municipality building. It's a historical place and it's very nice. Mm-hmm. And afterwards, Kempinski time has come. So my father took my mom for a trip to Berlin, to Germany, for their wedding anniversary. And they already had this another building in front of Cathedral Square in Vilnius. And they were thinking what to do. And they had an offers from different brands, from Hilton, from Marriott, and definitely not from Kempinski. It was 2004, I guess, when they went to Berlin and they had the opportunity to stay in Adlon. Adlon is a historical hotel in front of Brandenburg Gates. I believe you know it, yes?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Which is also under Kempinski names. And this is it. This German...
They fell in love.
completely.
And they said, this is the brand we want.
Yeah, definitely. This is it.
This is an example of when you never know what your guests, what that might lead to in life.
You know, at that time, my parents were not so, how to say, they came from simple families, very simple families. And this Adlon experience made a very huge impression for them. And I'll be honest with you, I remember when I was a teenage, when my father said, maybe it's not possible to have it in Lithuania to meet the standards. But in the end, we see that it is possible. So after they saw the Adlon, I'm not sure how it was, like, you know, with the documentation and everything, the rules and everything, but I mean, me and my parents, we were invited to United Arab Emirates to the opening of Emirates Palace Hotel in Abu Dhabi. And I was 14 years old. Come on, like a gold-plated door handle.
Yeah. Everything was wow.
Everything was wow because it was under the Sheikh supervision, the Abu Dhabi hotel. And after the grand opening, they came to Lithuania.
Oh, bless you. And I can see you getting emotional just remembering
Yes.
It really made... what is it that makes you so emotional when you remember that? Do you feel the pride for your country, for your dad, for what was accomplished? Were you in awe? Why are you getting emotional now?
Because when I checked the questions you sent me, to prepare a bit for this conversation, you asked, there was a question, how old was my father when he started to invest? And I was like, I was thinking like on my own, maybe 30, maybe 35, something like this. And then I just understood that this is the age of as I am now.
Yeah. So he was so young.
He was
when he
very
started
young.
To do this.
And he achieved a lot in his life.
Yeah.
We have it like, you know, he's already not in that like very dynamic business, but still it shocked me because I never understood that I am now at the age as my father was when he made this huge deal, let's say. And
all his investments and also, I guess, if I can say that because I found that in our family, but giving back, because for many, investing in hotels, building hotels, creating so many jobs, it's really giving back to a country that you love.
Yes.
And he must really love Lithuania and be proud of it, to have these historical buildings and want to bring these impressive brands to his country.
Yes. And the building where Kempinski is placed now, the building which belonged to my father, it's and previously, like during the World War II, it was a telegraph building where I don't know how to say
where all the telecommunications were happening.
And
like the sensors where they would connect the switchboards.
Yes, completely. When the time came to find the name for the hotel, at the very first it had to be Grand Hotel Kempinski Alexander Square, because it's in the front of cathedral in the previous Duke Alexander. But in the end, we have just a Grand Hotel Kempinski Vilnius, but the main restaurant of the hotel is called Telegrafas, which is called Telegraph.
Nice.
Yes, and this is how it started. They came to Lithuania. At that time I didn't care about this a lot. I was a teenager, young days.
Of course. You have to live the stage of your life you were at,
But Kempinski is supposed to open in 2009, and it didn't happen because the crisis came, economical crisis. This hit everything. And I saw my father very, very like, oh my God, it was so bad. It was really bad. Kind of depression, with all the doctors and everything. And we opened the hotel only in 2012 because of the crisis and because of the argument with the heritage, with the people who keeps the heritage safe, because the architects made a roof of hotel 10 centimeters too high. And the people...
So it's obviously a listed building, and then,
And it was a mistake, completely mistake. It was not like, I would not mention this and we will leave the hotel like this. No, the people who saved the heritage, the buildings and everything, they found out that the roof is bigger, 10 centimeters higher, another, like, pause. So in the end, we opened in 2012, and this year they are celebrating anniversary of 10 years.
Oh, how nice. But in the meantime, your dad sold, didn't he?
His shares.
His shares.
His shares of
Why?
the hotels.
Why did he sell?
Because it was the third pause, the COVID. It completely hit him.
And he couldn't take it anymore, just the disappointment.
At that time, the grandkids were born, like my daughter Layla and son Alexander, and he just decided to be a cool grandpa.
Good for him to leave his stress behind and move on.
Oh, it's very funny because as I said last week, they were visiting us here in Cyprus, and he was so happy, like he can enter the hotel, drink a coffee, and close the doors. That's all. He doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
But he made a big job. I mean, a big job. And these hotels are unique in Lithuania because Radisson has hosted so many famous politics, presidents like George Bush, famous group Scorpions, if you know.
Yeah, they've been to Cyprus as well.
Imperator, how it's in English? Imperior. No, Japanese.
And emperor.
Emperor of Japanese. It has, this table with the golden plates where it's written the names. And Kempinski also, they are also unique because they have all the safety regulations for government people, for political people, with all these emergency exits, blah, 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 all this stuff.
And your mom is a sommelier, you told me before we started. That's amazing. So how did she just love wine and then decided to, educate herself more about it? And she's still working. So tell us a little bit about that. Was she working in the hotels? What happened? How did that come about?
Actually, my mom's first profession, like original profession, she is a midwife.
Oh,
a midwife.
Amazing.
Actually, I was born and my kids were born in the same hospital where she was working 25 years ago.
Did she help when you had kids? Was she there helping?
Oh, no, she's completely different, Baba.
I would have thought she would have been there. Maybe she would have got too emotional.
Might be, but I remember that when Layla was born, she and my father, her husband, I mean, they were allowed to enter the area where you give birth. I don't know how it's called.
Where you give birth. Yeah, the room.
And they brought a champagne, but I don't remember. It's maybe Deutsch champagne, some kind of this for the doctors, and they were, oh, this is our previous colleague, like 20 years ago. It was so funny. And it's the same story because at the one moment in their life, they achieved the time when they become able to travel, to see the world, from Lithuania. Of course, it's financial aid and everything, but they started to travel to see the world. This is how Kempinski came, and this is how she changed profession, because it was 2005 when my father took her to Paris, and they rent a car and they were driving, and she saw some wineries. They went to Champagne region, and she just got it, She started to be more and more interested in all this gastronomy, culinary world, and Champagne. Really, trust me, we didn't have a good champagne at that time in Lithuania. Maybe Moyo, or Mom, something like famous, popular brands. And she became more and more interested. And she started to study. She was working for one wine shop or importer, I don't remember, for another. Then she started to do lessons, courses already. She has the students. So
she now teaches as well.
Teaches a lot, and she's bringing. We have really good restaurants in Lithuania. Let's call it home restaurants, like on the Baltic Sea shore. And she's doing a tours to Champagne. She's taking the owners of the restaurants to Champagne, to France, and introduce them with the champagne makers. And they have a connection. Then they bring a good champagne and good wine to Lithuania, to the restaurants.
That's amazing. But she was never involved in that area when your dad had hotels, or was she? No.
Never. And she became a simple employee in the restaurant of Radisson BLU Astoria Hotel, and she still is, because they need a person who will advise people, the guests, restaurant guests, what to drink, how to what to pair with what food and what wine, what to pair, This is true. And
That's amazing.
despite the fact that...
So she loves it. It's her calling. It's her thing.
Completely. And I know Cyprus needs a good sommelier.
Oh my goodness, several. Definitely. Yeah. And so tell us a little bit, because you didn't go into hotels despite the heavy influence of hotels in your life. Why is that you decided not to follow that profession?
I don't know. I just had some practices, as I told you, in the hotels. I saw, let's say, half of my life, how does it work, how to manage it, how hard it is. But one simple thing, it's just against the corporate rules. I mean, I was never allowed to work in any of the Kempinski or Radisson hotel. No, Radisson maybe not, but Kempinski for 100%.
You weren't allowed.
I was not around because of the family. Yeah.
Yeah. And they also have a regulation, don't they, that if somebody works there, the wife can't work, or no relatives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they changed them. The general managers, they rotate every 2 or 4 years. I don't know the difference why. Maybe because of of its own. And
I think it's the corporate structure, and they move people around. Yes. Yeah.
So, for example, we really had an amazing GM in Radisson BLU. He's from Switzerland.
Yeah.
You know, this is the country of hotels.
Absolutely.
And we are very good friends now with them. He got married, by the way, with Lithuanian girl.
Who can blame him?
Who can blame him? They moved. And in Kempinski, they have now the youngest general manager in Kempinski network ever. And he is performing amazing. He's a German, as I am 31. So I guess Kai, his name is Kai. He's really not 40, like 35, something like
oh,
this.
Wow.
He came from Dubai.
Yeah.
And he completely changed every perception of Kempinski in Vilnius. Completely. It became more open, more warm, more social. You know, not that it's still very luxury and keeps the rules, follows the rules.
And not so dry, more friendly.
Yeah. And he managed to manage the hotel during this pandemic crisis. So he's doing
what
amazing.
A crisis it's been. It's been insane. So Grete, tell us a little bit about Mrs Lithuania. How did you get into that? What happened? And how did you feel when you won and you became Mrs Lithuania, representing your country?
I guess this is the most funniest story in my life, because I was never interested in beauty contests. You know, I was dancing for 12 years, and let's say I was tired of all these heavy makeups and the glittery dresses and everything. Really, I was never interested in that. But we were on vacation with my husband, and that time only Layla was 1 year old. We were in Bali Island, and there was some local contest happening. And, you know, I was just sitting and, let's say, making fun of the contest. And my husband just looked at me and said, "You would never do this. You could never do this." So we made a bet. We bet. And later, like on that evening, I found a website of Mrs Globe. I understood that a Lithuanian woman, she's married to a famous basketball player. She won a few years ago. She became from Mrs Lithuania to Mrs Globe, Tatiana Lavrinovich. And I thought, why not? And I applied. It was an online application.
So literally within a few hours, you guys were having fun. It came up on YouTube or the TV. Your husband basically dared you and said you would never do this or whatever. And you were like, actually, I'm going to do it.
But that's not all. I applied, and maybe next day we had a dinner with him and his friends. And I said, I applied for Mrs. Globe. And they were like, what? Are you crazy? You know, making fun of me then. And 2 months later, I got a call from LA, from Los Angeles, from United States that, "Hi, is this Grete Brokiene?" "Yeah, why?" "So you were selected as one of the possible candidates." Yeah. So there were interviews. I know that 38 women applied from Lithuania, but we never knew about each other, you know.
Yeah,
it was
you didn't all know,
yeah. And
when you went to the competition, did you know anyone or you didn't know anyone?
No one.
No one.
I mean, the previous Mrs. Globe Lithuanian one, she came because she went with me.
Yeah.
Because she had some duties to do, and we became very good friends with her. Yeah.
Did she become like a mentor for you? Like someone who helped you through it?
I said, because if you want, you can pay for the mentorships, yes? But she was like completely trusted me, and she was like, no, you're going to be fine. So it all happened in the end of July, and we had to go to Hong Kong to final on November. And I was preparing myself like in the best shape ever, the most beautiful ever. I found so many sponsorships, dresses, everything. You know, funny fact that I didn't even know how to make a makeup because I was never used to it. It was so funny.
You're
like
so natural usually, and suddenly you had to put it on.
Yes, like Mrs. A title holder, she doesn't know how to do a makeup. So I found the sponsors, everything. Like the time was running so fast, and in the middle of September, I was feeling so strange, you know. And this is how I found out that I'm pregnant with the second baby, which was completely surprise. And I still made it. Like, I went to...
And you still went. You still traveled.
Yeah.
And you were 16 weeks pregnant.
On the final day, the day of finals, I was 16 weeks pregnant.
Amazing.
Just because it was nobody knew. Nobody. I didn't tell anyone.
And you weren't showing.
No.
You didn't have a tummy.
No, because look, I am high, and you know.
Yeah, you're tall. Yeah, you're very tall.
It was completely invisible.
16 weeks pregnant, I think I was already about 14 kilos heavier and had a bump I don't know. That's amazing.
And this is it. I came back and COVID started, and then it changed our life completely. Actually, after the China, 3 weeks passed later, we still came to Cyprus, to Paphos for a vacation. And that was the moment when I said, let's move here. But then COVID came, and we only moved 2 years later.
So what were the highs and what were the lows of COVID for you?
Let's say I don't have any losses in my life at all. It's just, you know, as we talked before, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Let's take everything as a practice, as an experience, and just try to be as much positive as possible. So speaking about the COVID, okay, my baby was born during the pandemic, during the first lockdown, but still after the huge experience, 6 years of corporate life, different companies, different experience, different positions, I managed to open my own business, to start consult ladies, only women. I work only with women.
Only with women.
About the nutrition and wellness, which was my biggest passion and my biggest hobby since 2013, so almost 10 years.
And I was going to ask you about that as well. How did you decide to get into nutrition and wellness, and how did you decide to become a coach? How did you become one? And why did you decide to focus only on women? What's the draw of that for you?
It came very organic because, as I told for you, when I was dancing 12 years. So it means that I had a routine, you know. You wake up, you have breakfast, you have school, you have dances, you have lunch, then you once again have dances, like 2 lessons per day, and you go to sleep. Next day, the same again, which means that it's very good for your body and for your well-being, let's say.
Mm-hmm. But both physically and mentally.
Yeah. But after 12 years, like after the high school, you have to understand what to do with your life. Or you go to dance professional, which is completely like nonsense at that time. You know,
for you.
Yes. Or you go to study to university, of course. And I chose studies. I went to university. It means that the parties started, you know, young days started. I found the first job, by the way. First job, what I found, where didn't my father put me there? Mm-hmm. So I was the flight attendant, a stewardess.
Wow. So again in travel and tourism.
So it just
and how long did you do that?
Oh, it's a very good experience for a woman, but for a young woman, just to grow up, you know.
And you did it for like a year or
1.5?
1.5. Wow.
Oh, it's amazing experience, and the life became very messy. Very messy. You know, one day you wake up at 4 in the morning, another day you come back home from the flight, from the duty at 4 a.m. And this mess made me feel bad. I mean, my body started to be sick. I gained almost 30 kilos.
Wow.
And of course, I tried everything, like dieting, not eating, vomiting, all the possible diets and all the crazy nonsenses, which is completely doesn't work, you know. And in the end, in 2014, I understand that I have to do something with this because I remember how my body used to look, how I used to feel before. It was very good. Come on, I'm young. I was 22, 21. And this is how it started. I started to study more. I found a college in London. So I made a course there. But as I said, all this corporate life, because I left airlines for automotive, I went to Maserati to work for Maserati. And all these corporate years, let's say, I was single, no husband, nothing. I was just putting more effort, and, just to get more knowledge, understand about the nutrition. And in Lithuania, we have 3 years of maternity leave, which is crazy.
More than France. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. 2 or 3 or 1.
Yeah.
You can choose, but still you're being paid. So Leila was born, and I was missing the dynamic daily life, everyday's life. So I started to study more. And after the baby was born, like 2 years later, I understood that. The COVID came. Of course, I used the fame and the famous and the fame and the well-known, let's say, from the contest, from the Mrs Globe, because at that time I became a popular in Lithuania, a famous person.
Yeah, you were a celebrity, celebrity status.
Yes,
yeah,
well-known person, and I just used it for my own purposes to open the business. Why only women? Because Mrs Globe changed a lot in my life, a very lot. It was a break point, because before I only understood the friendship of women as a competitive,
yeah. The dynamics between women is often one of jealousy,
yes,
of mistrust,
and because of my character,
so many things, yeah.
Because of my character, yeah. Because of the dance competitions, of everything, I felt myself all these, let's say, 27, 26 years, like not being very friendly with other women, or other women not being friendly with me. And I'll be honest with you, I went to Mrs Globe with a huge, let's say, attitude, like I'm gonna win. There's gonna be full of concurrent. Like I'm the best,
Yeah, your confidence was high. Like not arrogance, but you were so sure of yourself, and
this is, how to say, I was ready to fight.
Yeah.
This is how it is.
You were there. You were like ready for the race, and you were going to beat them.
Yeah. And I came, and I was the youngest participant in Mrs Globe. And all the other ladies from 65 countries all around the world, they were so friendly. They were so supportive with different stories. For example, Mrs Estonia was a police woman. Mrs United States was a lawyer fighting for a woman who were sexually abused. Yes, this is right. And the third lady was just after miscarriage. Different women, different stories.
Everyone had their story.
And completely no fighting, no jealousy, no stupid, childish things. And everyone were so friendly and so supportive that I just kept my mouth shut. And this is where I felt how powerful is woman empowerment.
And how it's supposed to be.
How it's supposed to be. How friendly we should be, and how we must to support other women's celebration. Because when you celebrate other women success, you're celebrating your success. So really, that contest really changed my life completely in every single sphere. And after I ended...
And in only good ways.
Yes, because I suffered myself from emotional eating, from postpartum depression, from everything what is related with food, and weight gain, weight loss, everything. Because nutrition starts really not on the plate. It starts in your brain.
As you said, a mindset. Absolutely.
Completely. So
do you think you were fueled into that a little bit more, or propelled, I should say, into that line of work a little bit more by having a daughter and maybe seeing yourself in her? I say that because I know for me as well, when I had my first child and I realized how little doctors know about nutrition. So even the best doctors, they're amazing, but they don't have a huge amount of hours spent on nutrition studies when they're becoming doctors. So they're just given, I mean, they were giving out the things from Nestle and HIP and other brands and telling me things that I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not good for my kid. And that's why I became more and more interested in it and eventually went to veganism.
I was successful here because all the pediatricians and doctors I met, they were quite open here, and they admit they don't have enough knowledge, and they just, they were like, okay, you understand about the nutrition, so I like support you. And also mentally, they were showing their support to me as a new mom, that you are okay, you're gonna be doing fine. Like speaking globally about Lithuania, the doctors, they understand that they are not enough with the knowledge, and they admit it. This is not a problem anymore, like nowadays. It's very funny that you mentioned hip, because Leila was a hip face in advertising when she was an infant.
Well, they've got some great baby food, so I'm not dissing any particular brands. I'm just saying how we have to be open and
So speaking about this, I don't know, we had a very good behavior, let's say, with the food in our family. My mom, she would never say this is a bad food, this is a good food, this is like, this will make you fat, this will make you thin. No, the behavior in our home, the atmosphere with the food, as they are big lovers of this culture, the food culture, it was very good. I'm really thankful for my parents that they grew me up like this, and I can give it to my daughter. I will never scale the food,
Yeah.
This is bad, this is good. And this is why, this is what I'm trying to, this is the message, what I'm trying to spread to other ladies, that there is no bad or good.
And so what is your message? Everything in moderation, or
balance is the key.
Balance
is the key. And we should not, this is another reason why I'm Cyprus, we should remember the mother nature when she gives to us.
And have more natural food.
Yes.
Less processed.
And when they ask me, so what should I buy in the grocery shop? I just say, buy food without labels. And just remember our own missions. It's the same that I really support vegan lifestyle.
Oh, thank
you. Because the animals, they were not made to eat,
no,
they were not born to be eaten.
Absolutely.
Just the simple basic rules.
They wouldn't have feelings if they were.
Yes.
If we were supposed to kill them, and they wouldn't have the feelings, they wouldn't be sentient beings, they wouldn't feel that fear, they wouldn't feel pain. So that's not why they were created. Absolutely.
So yes, basically my message for other women is just fall in love with the process. Fall in love with yourself. Yeah, you might have a goal, a target, but this is not you will reach it. Or maybe not, but this is not the place where you should be happy. You should be happy now and support your body, your cells with the proper nutrition, with the food from Mother Nature. And Cyprus is a place for this because the supplements are growing on the trees here. This is Mediterranean island, very rich of the foods and herbs and everything. So Cyprus
we have
is a
so
perfect
many
place.
Natural, amazing foods to enjoy.
Just to remind the woman that what they learn in biology lessons in school. Nowadays, people, they forgot these simple rules that we need all this nutrients, like carbs, protein.
We need the rainbow. We need the rainbow.
Why they're...
And everyone's in processed food. They're happy with a pizza. And that's what makes me laugh in my life about being vegan. So many people say, but where do you get all your vitamins from? And I'm like, well, are you asking yourself that when you've just had a burger for lunch and pizza for dinner? What about your fiber and your nutrients? And it's funny.
Because it's easier for people to follow the trend, to see the articles, all this media, social media, people and everything, but they keep forgetting the basics. So this is my message.
Well, on that note, we're going to close with one final question that I have no idea what it is. So our team write some questions down. I haven't even seen them or vetted them, so I hope that they're good. And they obviously have no idea who's going to pick it because I don't tell them who I'm seeing and when. So there you go. I'm holding them here. You can hear them. There you go. Pick any one you like.
Pick one. Oh my God.
Thank you. Let me read that out to you. I've got to try and... So, here we go. So what makes you feel inspired or motivated? So what motivates you? What inspires you? I guess daily. I'll add daily to that question. What makes you feel inspired and motivated?
Just me, myself. This is the rule. Nobody can.
You do.
I do.
I love that answer.
I try to look for the inspiration because I already know myself. This is like self-analytics, you know. If you need inspiration, okay, maybe I have to go to the sea or to have a proper food or everything. But in the end, we cannot have any expectations to anyone. Doesn't matter. Is a husband, father, son, Mother Nature, or everything else. You have to manage it by yourself. You cannot have expectations. This is, yes, self-motivation. This is also what I teach other women. Nobody is responsible for your happiness.
Except for you.
Completely.
I love it.
And you feel so happy when you know this, you know? Nobody's going to save you. So just get up.
Get up, do it. Look to yourself.
Yeah.
Feel that self-love, that confidence.
I do, actually. This is my honest, answer. I do.
That's amazing. Well, Grete, I wish you all the best always. I know that I'll be seeing you more often now that you're on our sunny island. Thank you for your time today. And everyone, don't forget to look Grete up on social media and connect with her.
Thank you.
Won't regret it.
Ocharisto.
Thank you, my dear.
Bye.
Bye.